Now in compulsory winding up, the NCLT or National Company Law Tribunal will pass an order asking to close down the company for certain reasons. Now again, in that compulsory winding up, there will be a procedure where they'll appoint a liquidator or a professional who will make sure that he will sell all the company assets and clear all the company liabilities. And sometimes that person can also look after the business for some period of time, or again the same liquidator can also can also sell the whole business to a other going concern. So these were few points under compulsory winding up. Now coming to voluntary winding up, here the company themselves wants to close down the company. Okay, the people of the company themselves wants to close down the company. Now in this case, what will happen? Since the company themselves want to do it, they will make the procedures much easier rather than the compulsory. Because in compulsory, since the court knows what they are trying to do, so the court will try to put lot of rules and regulations where they will be able to get the things done. Okay, now in voluntary winding up, there are two types of winding up. One is members voluntary winding up. The other one is creditors voluntary winding up. Okay, so in members voluntary winding up, what will happen is when the company is solvent and it's able to pay its liabilities in full, it need not consult the creditors or call the meeting. So if the company has enough money to pay back all the liabilities, then there is no problem for the company to do a meeting of calling the creditors and saying them, see, I have no money, give me some time. That exercise is not needed. Why it is not needed? The company is having enough money. Suppose I have enough money to buy 10 chocolates. I will not go to the shop and say, see, I only have so much money. Rest of the money, I will get it later. I need not say this to the shopkeeper, right? So similar case here, the company will have enough money to pay them. Okay, so now how will others know that the company has enough money? So what they'll do is they'll call for a meeting. Now in this meeting, the directors will give a declaration. They will give a letter which says, see, company has so much money left with itself. So there is no problem in paying everybody. So we are declaring that we are solvent, which means we have enough money to do to pay all the liabilities. That is called as declaration of solvency. And this declaration of solvency will be in the form of an affidavit. Now you would have known what is an affidavit, right? So as per the notary, there will be a lawyer who will put a seal on that and who will say that it is verified. So that will have more value when it is in the form of affidavit. It will have more value. So that is known as declaration of solvency. Okay, and if in the worst case any loan that is there, that has to be paid within 3 years of the winding up of the company. Why it is within 3 years? Because after 3 years it is called as barred debt. Okay, so it will become a bad debt if it is not paid for 3 years. So the expectation of payment of any loan is for 3 years. Now, when is that 3 years? Let us take an example. Now, suppose the company has taken a loan in, let's say, January 2020. January 2020, it has taken a loan. Now, it was paying the loan back. No problem. Now, what happened from March 2020? Now it is December 2020, right? They have not paid any amount. January they took the loan, January they paid, February they paid. Now from March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, another 10 months, they have not paid the money. Okay. Now like this, they can continue for another 2 years. Totally 3 years. If they have, they have to try paying it, but then if it is more than 3 years, then it will become a bad debt, which means no expectation. So one can expect, okay, they will pay this month, they'll pay next month, they'll pay next year. We can expect until 3 years, but after that, you should put that under the category of bad debts. You can go and ask them, you can send a notice to them, you can write a letter asking for the loan amount, all that can be done. But until 3 years, according to accounts also, it can be considered as an expectation of paying back, but after 3 years, it will become a bad debt. Okay, next. Now the declaration of solvency, that the directors will do a meeting and they will give a certificate. Now that has to be done within 5 weeks immediately preceding the date of passing the resolution. If I do a meeting and if I decide, okay, I'm closing the company, from that date, within 5 weeks, we have to declare that we are solvent. Okay, and then that declaration should be attached with profit and loss account, balance sheet, and other necessary explanation. Okay, so declaration of solvency, balance sheet, profit and loss, and other necessary explanation, all this should be given to all the people in the company. So that will be members voluntary winding up. Next, creditors voluntary winding up. The next type is creditors. Now here, where the company proposes to wind up voluntarily and the directors are not in the position to make solvency declaration. Now in members, they were happy. They're like, yeah, we have money. Don't worry. We'll give all your money back. They were happy and they closed down. No problem. But in this case of creditors voluntary winding up, there is no money. Members, the directors are not ready to give a solvency declaration that there is money in the organization. So the provisions are similar to the members voluntary winding up, but only one extra thing that will happen is that liquidator will come back here. Now let us take a situation. Our company XYZ Limited, if you remember this company, we have taken this throughout the syllabus. Now XYZ Limited is closing down. Now why it is closing down? Because there are creditors for XYZ and XYZ is not paying the creditors. Who are creditors? You will buy, let's say XYZ is a steel company. Is a steel company, or let's take it as construction. I think that will make much sense. Okay, XYZ is a construction company, like your Prestige, Salapuria, then you have that Shobha. There are many other things like that, right? Okay, so it's a construction company. Now, who will be creditors for construction company? You will have to buy a lot of raw materials for construction. So you have to buy steel. You'll have to buy You'll have to buy cement, right? You'll have to buy sand. You'll have to have a separate people for interiors. That interior designing, who will make that modular kitchen, new type wardrobes, those people will be different. Now, all of these people will be working together with XYZ. Now, if XYZ company does not have money to pay all of them, why will they work with XYZ? The main intention of working together is both of them can earn good money and make good profit. When XYZ is not able to do the work properly, the other person is also affected by that. So these all will be the creditors. Now let's say XYZ has to pay 10 lakh rupees for steel. Let's say they have to pay 10 lakh rupees for cement, 5 lakh rupees for sand, and for interiors some 20 lakh rupees. This is the due. The company has to pay so much amount to all of them. Now these creditors all together will come to the company and they will ask directors, okay, now you're supposed to pay us so much. Do you really have money? Give us a declaration of solvency, they will ask. And the XYZ directors will not give the declaration of solvency. They will hesitate. They are not ready to give the declaration of solvency. Okay. Now creditors understood, okay, there is something wrong that is happening in the organization where there is no money. Okay. Now, since they want to close the company, now XYZ wants to close. Okay. Since XYZ wants to close, let us not compromise. Let us get a professional who can close the company. It is something like this. Instead of you stitching your own dress, if you give it to a tailor, that tailor will stitch it in a professional way because the tailor has learned the skill and he is doing it. Correct? So similarly, instead of you doing the professional work, get a professional who can do it better. So you get a professional known as liquidator who will make sure that he will take care of the accounts of the company, check where all money is available, sell off the assets whenever possible, and pay the liabilities. So the creditors will get one liquidator. Now in members, what happened? There was no liquidator. But in creditors, they will get a liquidator. They will appoint. Who will appoint? Creditors will appoint the liquidator, and creditors will only fix the salary for the liquidator. I hope you're able to follow. Okay. Now, once they fix the liquidator and fix his salary, now liquidator will do his steps one by one to close the company. Now, let us see what are those ways where the liquidator will close the company one by one. Now, procedures involved in voluntary winding up of a company. This can be asked for 14 marks question, which has been asked many times. So, please understand it well. Then, step 1. Conduct a board meeting with 2 directors and thereby pass a resolution with the declaration given by directors that they are of the opinion that company has no debt or it will be able to pay its debt after utilizing all the proceeds from sale of its asset. Now XYZ is closing down and creditors has got a liquidator. Now creditors along with all the directors, especially 2 directors should sit in the board meeting. Now these 2 directors, the company secretary will arrange for the board meeting. The 2 directors should sit there, minimum of it with 2 directors, and then they will pass a resolution. That is, the decision in the meeting will be passed. What is the decision? Saying that either there is no debt, okay, either there is no loan at all, or that is first scenario. No loan is first scenario. Now the second scenario is for the loan that is available, we have enough money to pay for the loan. Now from where will they get the money? They will have assets, they'll have machinery, they'll have huge big trucks where they will be carrying the raw materials. Cement mixing truck will be there. All that will be asset for a company. So they will sell all that assets, and whatever money will come from that asset, that will be paid to the loan. So that is scenario number 2. So what is first scenario? No loan is the first scenario. Second scenario is whatever loan is there, that has to be cleared. So for the clearance of loan, they have enough money. So that decision has to be made in the board meeting by passing a resolution. This is step number 1. Step number 2, issues notices in writing for calling a general meeting, proposing the resolution along with explanatory statement. Now, after deciding about what is to be done, next they will call the shareholders and they will inform the shareholders saying that, see, we are planning, now the shareholders know that they are closing down. Okay. So they will issue the notice to the shareholders and they will say them, see, this is the asset, this is the money we will get, and we are going to pay back all your money. Then in general meeting, pass the ordinary resolution for the purpose of winding up by ordinary majority or special resolution by 3/4 majority. Now in the annual general meeting, they will say, no, we are not able to do anything, we are closing the company. Now how many of them are okay with closing the company? If 50% or more are okay, that is ordinary majority. Okay, 50% or more are okay, that is ordinary majority. If 75% or more people are okay, that will become special resolution. Okay, 3/4 of the majority, 75% of the people are okay, then that will become special resolution. Now, whichever majority they get, they will pass that resolution. If they get 50% or more, it is ordinary resolution. If they get 75% or more, they will pass special resolution. So now after decision, they are passing the resolution in the meeting. Then after that, conduct a meeting of creditors after passing the resolution. If majority creditors are of the option that winding up of company is beneficial for all parties, then company will wound up voluntarily. First, directors did the meeting. Then they called the shareholders. Then they decided with the shareholders. Now they are calling the creditors. Now they'll call the creditors, they'll discuss with the creditors, they'll ask them, see, we are trying to do this, are you okay? Creditors will discuss, because creditors require so much money. That steel people, cement, interior, all of them should be paid, right? So those people will think, okay, now if they close down also, I will be getting my money, right? So let them close down, because they're not able to do the business, let them close down. If they are okay, then company will close. The company will say, okay, fine, we have done enough work, thank you, and they will close the company. So that is step number 4. Then within 10 days of passing the resolution, file a notice with registrar for appointment of liquidator. Now if creditors are also okay, they are also like, okay, close the company. Now within 10 days from the meeting, suppose you do the meeting today is 29th. Now before Jan 8th, you are supposed to send a notice, file a notice with the ROC and say them, please give us a liquidator. We require a liquidator who can close down our company. So that is step number 5. Remember these number of days, they are very important. Then the step number 6. Within 14 days of passing such resolution, give a notice of the resolution in the official gazette and also advertise in a newspaper. Now, because public would have put the money into the company, so they have to compulsorily inform everybody possible. Officers, branches, customers, employees, everybody has to be involved. Imagine a company will have somewhere around, uh, let's say, close to 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh employees, right? So many people, where will they get the job? So they have to inform all of them well before. And this winding up cannot be done at a time. Slowly you have to close down one after the other unit, and then the final unit, because it actually affects a lot of people lives when you close down a company. So they have to be very careful. So within 14 days of passing the resolution, they should make sure that it is given in the official gazette, in the media, and in the newspaper. Especially newspaper is very, very important, because many of them will check the newspaper. Then step number 7. Within 30 days of general meeting, file certified copies of ordinary or special resolution passed in the general meeting. So 14 days, within 14 days, they should give the advertisement. Now within 30 days of the AGM, 30 days of AGM, they would have decided, right? Ordinary resolution, special resolution, whatever they had passed in the meeting, that copy has to be filed with the ROC. That is always, that practice has to be done. Whenever they do the meeting, within 30 days, a copy of the resolution has to be filed with the ROC. So that is step number 7. Next, step number 8. Wind up the affairs of the company and prepare the liquidator's account and get the same audited. So actually there is accounts for winding up of the company also. You might be learning that. I'm not sure if you have learned it before or you have it now, but in this, your accounts, you will have that also covered. At some point of time, you'll have it covered. Okay. So you'll have to uh, do all the accounts, close the company accounts. Okay. Prepare the liquidator's account. What all will come from company to liquidator, what all will come, they'll have to check. And then that has to be audited by a chartered accountant again. Double checking. Every place double checking has to be done. Then the next step, conduct a general meeting of the company. Again, conduct a general meeting where you will have a shareholders. Now in that meeting, pass the special resolution for disposal of books and necessary documents of the company when the affairs of company are totally wound up and it is about to dissolve. Final shareholders meeting they are doing. Final meeting. Now what will they do in this final meeting? They will pass a special resolution and they will dispose of the books. Okay, the company is closing, no more XYZ Limited is there. All the necessary documents. See, the problem is if they keep these documents elsewhere, a copy of this will be with the ROC. Okay, but if the company is not there and if they get the documents, they can use the documents for fraud work. So that is the main reason they should always dispose. Even that accounts books has to be disposed in front of shareholders. So understand how important shareholders are to the company. Even a small paper, even one paper which is something written, has to be disposed in front of shareholders only. Okay, now they have completed everything. They have disposed all the books also. Nothing is left out. Now company is about to dissolve. The company is about to pull the shutter and go. Now there is still little more steps left. Within 15 days of final general meeting of the company, submit a copy of accounts and file an application to the tribunal for passing an order of dissolution. Look at the in-depth of steps. It's not that easy to close a company. It's not that you put the shutter today and from tomorrow you don't open. That is not it. If it's a company, to close also, after that final meeting, within 15 days, you have to submit one copy of the accounts to the NCLT, that is tribunal, and you should request them, we have done all our work. Okay, please pass the order of dissolution. Please pass the order of closing so that we can close and go home. So that will be the almost final step. And then after that, if the tribunal is of the opinion that the accounts are in order and all the necessary compliance have been fulfilled, the tribunal shall pass an order for dissolving the company within 60 days of receiving such application. So the tribunal will go through all the accounts. They will check everything. All rules are complied, necessary documents are given. Have they done everything properly? Okay, have they paid required amount? Have they received required amount? Everything they'll check. If they are okay with all of it, then they will say, okay, now everything is fine. Close your company, dissolve it. And that will be done within 60 days. 60 days is 2 months, almost 2 months, right? So that will be done within 60 days. And then an appointed liquidator would then file a copy of order with the registrar. So the liquidator will get the dissolution order. Now that dissolution order, they will send in 2 or 3 copies. So one copy will be given to the ROC. Okay. Now after receiving the order passed by tribunal, the registrar then will publish a notice in the official gazette declaring the company is dissolved. Now finally the company, before the registrar, the ROC will get the order and he will put it in the official gazette. He will put it in the form of a circular or notice or anything that you can call, saying that this company is dissolved. There is no more of XYZ that will be available. Okay, so these are the 14 main steps. These are the 14 main steps that will be important while voluntary winding up of a company. Please, please, please do study these 14 steps. I'm repeating it over and again. Compulsory question has been asked in all the 5 years question paper. The good thing about such process is, if you're able to understand the process one after the other, you will be able to put them into points easily. If you get more points, if you divide the same points into 15, 16 points also, no problem. Study this answer. Compulsory 14 marks question will come. You can score full marks because it's a procedure. Since it's a procedure, you cannot deviate from the procedure and you have to follow it. Okay, so these are the steps. Any doubts in the steps of the winding up procedure?